Hi everyone, my name is Alyssa and this is the 5-Foot Test Kitchen. Today I will be making what my coworkers have lovingly started to call the breakup cupcakes. For these cupcakes, it's chocolate cupcakes with chocolate ganache in the middle and then with cookie dough frosting on top. This cookie dough frosting is from Two Sisters Crafting. It's one of my favorite Pinterest pages. They have lots of amazing frostings and dips, and I will have the recipe linked down below and obviously pinned in my cupcakes folder in my Pinterest 5-Foot Test Kitchen. I almost said Two Sisters Baking, which is this recipe. I will be doing chocolate cake just out of the box mix. This one's from Aldi. Obviously you can make homemade chocolate cake if you really want to, but the ganache and the frosting is really what makes it. I haven't felt the need to make a homemade chocolate cake for this recipe, and my coworkers still absolutely love this. You will be seeing this recipe made at the end of December, hopefully right before January after Christmas, after my Christmas series is done and before my Healthy January series is up. And this is kind of what you can break up with 2019 if you are having a really bad year. I personally have had a really amazing 2019, but I know a lot of you out there are just wanting to have a new fresh start. I'm also making this for my coworker's birthday who absolutely adores these cupcakes. So if you're watching, Jess, hey. So I already have my chocolate cake mix all the way mixed together. I just have to mix it a little bit more and then put them in my cupcake liners. Get them in the oven at 350, which is for the cupcakes. Basically do whatever's on the back of your box. And then I will get back to the video with the frosting, which is probably what you're the most interested in. I'll make sure to timestamp where that frosting starts because that's probably what you're most interested in. Another note is to make sure that you have your butter out while you're making your cupcakes so that it's already softened by the time you're wanting to do your frosting. So I will speed up some of this cake mixing and pouring into the cupcakes, getting into the oven, and then we will be right back. Okay, so we are back and the cupcakes are in the oven. They've got about 4 minutes left, so you'll probably hear my buzzer go off and I'm gonna have to go get those really quickly, but I wanted to start on the frosting. So for this frosting, which again is the Two Sisters Crafting, the best cookie dough frosting, you will need 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips mini, 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of powdered sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, which I need to go grab from over there, 1 cup of softened butter, and 8 tablespoons of milk depending on the consistency. So that's a 1/2 cup. So we're going to put a little bit in at a time so that once we get to the consistency we want, we'll stop adding the milk. So to start off, we are going to cream together the brown sugar, powdered sugar, and butter on low in a mixer. Get this all mixed up, and while that's mixing, our next step is to add the flour and the vanilla and mix on medium speed until creamy and fully incorporated. So I have to get my vanilla really quick. So it's all mixed together. As you can see, it's kind of light brown because of the brown sugar, and not sure if you'll be able to see, but you can see that it's all pretty well mixed together. Now we're going to add the flour. It's 1 cup of flour, and then 2 teaspoons of vanilla, not tablespoons. Sorry about that. That would have been very vanilla-y cupcakes if we had done that. 1, 2. And yes, I know there's a guard for this. I just forgot to get it out. My timer just went off, so we are going to stop this for just a second and get those cupcakes out of the oven, or check them at least. And these are gorgeous cupcakes. Look at how much those rose. And since we're pouring them out, I like to have bigger cupcakes. Like I was saying, I like to make bigger cupcakes for these so that way when I pour them, it's not like getting all the way to the bottom. And everyone just really likes big cupcakes, and I got 18 out of them. So I think that's pretty successful with cupcakes. I'm going to poke those with a knife real fast to make sure that they're ready. And that came out clean, so I'm going to let those cool while we finish up this. Then we can core them, make the ganache, and then we're going to be good to go. Okay, so I'm going to get this back going. Alright, so we're going to add a little bit of milk. Alright, and I'm going to add in the milk at 1 tablespoon, increments to get it to the consistency that we want. So it's a little more frosting-like and a little less cookie dough-like. Okay, so I think this is getting close. I don't know if we're going to use all of the milk, which is fine. I just wanted to have enough. I'm going to grab a paper towel, wipe this mess up. And I always do that. Now, let's get this scraped off. Will not look later. Fold this in. Make sure everything's incorporated. And this is the consistency that I like. It's a little bit thicker. I'm not sure if you can see that. So that way it's like a little bit more rich on the top, and it'll be really great. So we are going to put 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips. I'm not going to fully measure it. I know that this is about 3/4 of a cup. Might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less. It's not an exact science. So this is good to go. As you can see, I'm going to pop this in the fridge for a little bit while these cool, and then we can start on our ganache. So for the ganache, it's just basically 1 part heavy cream, 1 part chocolate. If you want it a little bit thicker, you add a little more chocolate. If you want it a little more thin, you do a little more heavy cream. So all I'm going to do is warm this heavy cream in the microwave and then pour it over chocolate chips. And I thought this bowl was going to be big enough, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get 2 cups of chocolate chips in here. We'll see. I might be able to, but it's going to be close. So I'm going to get this popped in the microwave. I'm going to cook it for maybe like 1.5 minutes. I'm not entirely sure how long, but that should get it pretty warm so that we can melt the chocolate in it. Okay, so my cream is warm, and I'm going to pour this over the chocolate chips. And we are going to mix this all up. Check the bottom. Looks pretty good. Just want to make sure that we're not leaving any chocolate. And we are going to let this set for a little bit so that it'll cool off and be a little bit more of a ganache flavored. I might have cookie dough on my face because I definitely tried it earlier and it is delicious. But we're gonna let this cool, and in the process I'm gonna clean up a little bit, and then we're gonna start coring our cupcakes. So we are ready to start coring our cupcakes. I have this little cool tool that I was just given as a bridal shower gift that you can just core the cupcakes, but obviously you can use a spoon and it works just as well, probably better. This one's not working. Let's try this again. There we go. So, and then it just makes a nice little hole. And then this one, I'll just get that out with a spoon. so we have a nice little spot for ganache. So I'm going to pour these really quickly, and then we'll be ready to go to put the ganache in and then decorate the top. Okay, so we have all the cupcakes poured. I'm going to try a little bit of the cake just to make sure it's good before we assemble all of this. Yeah, it's good chocolate cake. So I realized what's probably happening is I didn't let these cool 100% before I was trying to pour them. So they're probably a little softer than they normally are when I'm doing this. So I'm going to let these cool a little more. My ganache still needs to set up a little bit, so I'm going to let that set a little more. And then once these are both ready, I will be back and ready to go to fill these with the ganache, let that set a little bit, and then decorate the top with the frosting. So we are back with our ganache that's been slightly chilled so it's not quite as thin so that we can scoop it. We've got our cupcakes in our tray. This is the nicest, one of the best gifts that I've gotten as a bridal shower gift. And if you have a baker in your life, I would definitely recommend it because as you can see, there's these little ridges to hold cupcakes in, and then the other side is flat for a cake. And then you have this lid that goes on top, and it is perfect for taking to work if you have a lot of baked goods to take to work. I have 2 of these. My mom has one that's stackable, so it's like 9, 9, and 9. But anyways, so I am going to fill these with the ganache. I'll speed it up. I have some hot chocolate here from our spiked hot chocolate battle. I actually filmed that yesterday, and if you want to watch that, I'll link it below. It's delicious. We had some leftovers because we did not need 2 glasses of hot chocolate each. So my husband James is in that video as well, so if you want to see him, watch that video, and I will link that down below. And I'm just going to fill these basically all the way to the top with the ganache. And I'm just using a tablespoon and some clean fingers to do this. And this will harden up when you keep the cupcakes in the fridge. So it'll be a little bit like the center of a Lindor truffle, if you know what I'm talking about. So comment down below, unless you're my coworkers, then you guys already have the same answer as I do. What is something that you bake for your coworkers that they just absolutely love? Like, they always want it. This is definitely one of those recipes for me. They just love cookie dough in my office. So I make these a lot. So what is something that your coworkers really like to make? And if you have any ideas or have any recipes, let me know. And I'll try it out and see if my coworkers like it too. Okay, so we are ready. I'm gonna set this in the sink so we don't make more of a mess. Wipe some of the chocolate up, and we are ready to go with icing. So these are starting to set a little bit. I will start with the cupcakes that look like they're not quite as drippy. I have a tablespoon and then my spatula and a knife. Not sure which method I want to do for this. We'll see. I think I'm going to scoop out with my tablespoon to get it on and then maybe spread it out with the knife. I'm not the best decorator, so we'll see what happens. So there we have it. We have the final product. As you saw, I just used a tablespoon and then kind of used my finger to spread it out. I have clean hands, I promise. I washed them like 85 times while I'm baking. But it kind of worked out really well. I've never done it that way before, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I must have had a little bit thicker of a frosting than I normally do, which I like. I think it looks like kind of like blobs of cookie dough on top. So I hope you really enjoyed watching this video. I think it will be a little bit of a longer one because there were so many different components. It's basically kind of 3 different recipes all in one, and then all of the assembly, so I hope you don't mind the little bit longer video for this one. I'll try to edit down and time lapse as much as I can, but wherever you are, I hope you have a good night, morning, or afternoon, and don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, Pinterest, and if you have any questions and I forgot any steps or any measurements, I will put them in the description box down below. And if you have any other recommendations on recipes, as always, leave a comment. Thanks. Bye.